Hey there, I'm Sully, and as always, welcome to the Gun Club. Alrighty, got a couple of interesting stories we're going to cover today. One of them is the one that came out last week. Things ought to have been following around with it and trying to catch up with it and see what all's going on. Um, Once we get a few people in, we are streaming live on YouTube and on Rumble right now. Wanted to let everyone know if you're really looking for some deep dive information on the South Carolina CWP law updates and the permitless carry, constitutional carry, whatever you want to say, I did a deep dive video on that. I posted it to YouTube. If you want me to cover it tonight, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to go on, cover it, deep dive into it. I've actually got the memo that was sent out by the South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division to all law enforcement officers as far as what we need to do, as far as how that's going to be handled and everything else. So it's the directives to law enforcement, give everyone a good idea what the changes are. There are some important things to know and a couple things we need to key in on with the constitutional carry. That being said, again, I did post it as a pre-recorded premiere over on YouTube. I may run it on with this stream. I may just run it as a separate stream on here. Let me know what you're interested in. I can do that. If you've got any specific questions about it, please, by all means, throw those questions up in the chat. I will be more than happy to go over to the best of my knowledge. Again, I'm not an attorney. However, I do, like I said, have the SLED guidelines that were sent out to law enforcement the day it was signed. So with that being said, that's one thing to get out of the way. Secondly, we're going to probably be doing a Rumble exclusive live in a day or so, going over a couple of firearms. As we know, YouTube does not like me handling live firearms live on stream. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to do it on Rumble, record that stream, and then later I can post that stream over to YouTube as a pre-recorded. Again, they just don't like, us getting into live firearms on stream. I say, we got a couple coming into Rumble over here. I see Minnie's in the chat. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I know you had a long day at the office today. She and I text periodically from time to day, so I know she had a long day, so welcome in tonight. Hope your night's getting a little bit better. As we get later on in tonight, again, we'll see what comes up. The first case I want to hit on, and I'm going to give a minute or so for people to wander in, because this one, it made the news. We heard all about it, and as always, you hear about it for a day or so, and then it's poof, out of the media, unless, of course, it fits certain criteria, and, there you go. Okay, well, congratulations. Minnie managed to get rid of her heels, so she's having a much better day, although she still is our favorite mouse. For those of you all who don't know, Minnie is the wonderful lady behind all of our gun club tumblers and cool swag we have, so she does lots of that. She also does custom embroidery work and that sort of thing, so check out her stuff over at Southern Sisters Crafty Creations. That's how she pays for her range time. We'll just say that. Sadly, this week, I do have one piece of sad news to report. Last night was ladies' night at the range, and Minnie unfortunately had to work late, and so she did not get to do ladies' night at the range. So, better luck next time, dear. But, okay, so Mama Minnie's doing the embroidery. But, yeah. Unfortunately, she didn't get any range time out of it yesterday. Sorry, dear. Better luck next time. Alrighty. As we get going here, let's see. Yeah, I guess embroidery is how Mama Minnie pays for her range time, huh? Yeah, we need to talk to her a little bit about a couple things. I've got a couple of interesting ideas, but yeah, somehow I don't see that happening. I don't see you talking me into putting on a wig and heels for ladies' night at the range. Just not going to do it. I'll do a lot of things, but that's not just going to be one of them. Sorry, good try though. Let's talk about Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, if you didn't hear, last week on the 6th, while the great state of South Carolina was implementing our permitless carry, while they were voting on that, the shooting jumped off that afternoon in Philadelphia. It happened at a public transit bus stop. They ended up with 8 students wounded, all between the ages of 15 to 17. One of them was a 16-year-old. They're thinking he was the key target. He was actually shot 9 times and is still in critical condition. Now, there's a few things we can take and learn from this as we go through. The biggest things we can learn from this, number one, right off the top of our head, is get out of these major metro cities because, it's a train wreck. Number two, and here's another big one, the kid is shot 9 times. He's in critical condition. 8 other people wounded. They're all alive. So think about this. If you're in a lethal force encounter with a motivated bad guy who's coming at you with a stabby thing, what does this tell us about, the movies? 1 or 2 bangs and everything's fine, everything's taken care of, and the threat's neutralized. And yet this had 50, 60 shots fired, and everyone lived through it, including one who was shot 9 times. Now, he's in critical condition, but, this is why we talk about firing multiple rounds. Shoot at the center of visible mass until the threat is neutralized. Well, Sully, how many is too many? What if I, empty the whole mag of 15? Well, that's why we carry a second mag. As long as they're upright and aggressing towards you, you are still in imminent fear of your life. I don't care if they've got 3 holes in them, because, again, they can survive through 3 holes. We've proven that many, many times. If you want to know, just Google on there, how many people go to the ER with gunshot wounds? Why? Well, because if they make it to the ER, they're alive. Now, some of them are down. Some of them don't make it past the ER. But again, if they go to the ER with a gunshot wound, they're still alive and kicking, which means they could still potentially be posing a threat to someone. So the one-shot stop, that looks great on TV, looks great in the movies, 1 or 2 shots and all as well. Unless it's a lethal hit, unless it's a central nervous system hit or something like that, guess what? They're going to keep coming. So again, something we need to keep in mind for our well-being and our safety. Alrighty. Now, so we've got these 8 students wounded. Now, to get 8 wounded, you got to have a lot of shooting, assuming, going on. Well, apparently, a vehicle with 4 people in it pulled in. 3 of them jumped out, including one who was carrying a Glock semi-automatic handgun, but it was rigged to be full auto. It had one of those old Glock switch jobs on it. So this is what it looked like on the scene. Them pulling some Jump Out Boy stuff. They whip in, across the street from the bus stop, jump out, all hooded up, masked up, and they go over and basically do a spray and pray on the kids standing at the bus stop after school. Because, that's what goes on in normal cities, right? Yeah. Well, they got to play their version of the Jump Out Boys. Now, there were 4 people involved. They have 3 of the 4 are already in custody. They've got one who's 19 years old. I'm not going to name names. Well, I may name the suspect who's still at large. But one, 19 years old, he's in custody on a $4 million bond with a bunch of charges. They've got another one. His name is Anil. Yeah. He's 18 years old. He was already out on juvie probation. He's on a $16 million bond. He's still being held. He's the one who had a Glock 40 with a full auto switch on it. Then they had another one on $16.1 million bond. He's 18 also. He was the driver of this blue Hyundai that you can see here. And it turns out that it was stolen on March 2nd. Now, the interesting thing was The kids, after they pulled this off, drove it basically to one of the kids' houses and parked it right out in front of the kid's house and went on inside the individual's house, the one who was on probation. It didn't take Philly PD too long to figure out that he was probably involved. So, yeah, there you go. We go on to the next, again, two 18-year-olds and a 19-year-old in custody. Nice. And the 19-year-old, well, he just got picked up yesterday, and we can all have a laugh because he likes to play Jump Out Boys. Apparently, he doesn't like playing Jump Out Boys when it goes the other way. Because, this was his version of Jump Out Boys. But let's see what he likes about the other real Jump Out Boys. Yeah, they got the marshals after these boys, and they did their Jump Out Boys. And, well, fortunately, less people got shot. But on the other side of that coin, yeah, he gets to go for a ride down to the station house to the Graybar Motel. And he's in jail with a $4 million bond. Now, I'm guessing, just off the top of my head, that none of these families have 16 or 4 million or 10% of that to throw up in bond money. I'm guessing these three young men, and when they hook up the fourth, because they're probably going to, they already know who he is, they're already looking for him, and they're pretty intent on getting him. These kids are going to sit in jail in not too nice a place until their trial comes up. Probably 8 months to a year. Just guesstimate, okay? I mean, let's face it, we know the court system can be a little slow. So what do we got? We got two 18-year-olds, a 19-year-old, and when they get the 17-year-old, they're spending the next year or so of their life in the Hooskow, assuming that they're found guilty. Don't know. They're innocent until proven guilty. But it's looking pretty good because apparently there was at least one of them that was on the phone back and forth with somebody who was at one of the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections facilities. And, well, their calls are monitored. So he's on tape talking about this stuff. Yeah. Congratulations, guys. It's a week after you've done it, or a week and a day after you've done it. 3 out of the 4 are in custody. The fourth one going to be picked up soon. Now, if you're wondering, kind of like I am, the last one, his name is Asir Boone. He's, again, up on attempted murder charges. The Jump Out Boys did put a $5,000 reward on him. So if you know where that one is, Mr. Boone, he's already, they said we had given him put out publicly, he's got 24 hours to turn himself in. If he doesn't, we'll come find him. So, yeah, Mr. Boone is either laying low or trying to get out of town right now. But any one of his friends, if you see him, turn him in. You, too, can get $5,000. Be a nice way to get yourself out of that neighborhood and start your new life in like a normal city. Now, you got to wonder why this would happen. Currently, they're not 100% sure, but they think it was a payback for another school-related shooting at another public transit bus stop on the other side of town that happened and killed a kid a week prior to that. So what are they doing? Well, basically, these school kids in the city are using mass transit to go to and from school, which is fairly normal. Why run school buses when you've got the public buses? Just give them bus passes. Much more efficient. But so we got 4 kids here, who are going to jail. We've got 8 wounded, at least one of them critically. I think all the others have been released, however. Then in the other one, they've got 1 or 2 suspects over there. 1 kid dead, a couple of bystanders wounded, and another stupid, let's see how dumb we can be and have a spray and pray fest. Now, the interesting thing, as we look at the big picture, there were no AR-15s involved in this fiasco, in either of them. There were no pistol braces involved in this fiasco, to my knowledge, in either of them. There were no bump stocks involved in either of these. There were no suppressors or mufflers or silencers involved in any of these. I don't think any of these people were domestic violent extremists They don't appear to be the white MAGA cult members that the FBI has been warning us about, or I don't think they're the, maggots or whatever they could call these days, or what's the latest one. It is one simple inner city crime, and it's got 8 kids wounded. Another one's got a couple people wounded and one dead. Yeah, bunch of kids all going to jail. Yeah, and we barely hear about it. It came out. We heard about it for like a day or so. Now I can promise you, if it had been a jacked up Ford 350 or Ford 250 with Confederate flag in the back and a couple of guys screaming yeehaw out there, and there was a deer rifle involved, this would have been national news from now until whenever. And we've been talking about how, everybody's Trump's rhetoric has radicalized people. No, this is just simple, straight out inner city crime. Now, the fact that the 18-year-old was already on juvenile probation, we don't know for what yet, but it's very much reminiscent to the 14-year-old who shot and killed his sister back on Christmas Eve, that the sheriff said, we've been taking guns off him since he was 12, but all they do is keep putting him back on juvenile probation. And he had 6 run-ins with law enforcement from ages 12 to 14, till he killed someone. Then he went to big boy prison. These kids, their ages, they're all going to big boy prison. I have a feeling the 17-year-old, since they're already putting his name and picture out, he's going to big boy prison on attempted murder charge. Existence. But on the other side of the coin, they're not fixing the problem. I've watched the lawsuits go back and forth, whether it be in Maryland with their sensitive places, whether it be in New York. We started with New York Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruen, all the chaos out in California with assault weapons bans and this ban and that ban and everything else. And you know what? It's not stopping it. We're watching in Colorado right now. They're trying to put all kinds of restrictions in place. Do you think any of the gun laws or restrictions that are put in place that would affect me, would affect, Mel if she went up there? We're not allowed to carry in Pennsylvania. I'll let you know. My permit is not good enough to carry in their city. Okay. But this goes on. And it goes on routinely again and again and again. Back and forth, little warring gang factions. Gun control, again, is doomed not to work. It was a great discussion I was having with someone earlier today. And I said, at some point, I wish they would take some of the time, effort, and money that all these entities, whether it be the great state of California or the ATF or anyone else, all the push they're trying to do with gun control, and start trying to do it as far as crime control, criminal control. They're always worried about, we've got the FBI running around arresting grandma who wandered into the Capitol. Okay, fine. She trespassed. Give her a trespassing ticket. No, they're pressing federal felony charges on them. Yet these people are running around with Glock switches on their guns. Maybe if the ATF worried a little bit more about this kind of stuff and a little bit less about, who was protesting outside what clinic singing, Bible hymns, Yeah, why do we need gun control? How about we get some crime control? Or, as Mel so epically put it, yeah, exactly. Maybe a little bit of thug control, because stupidly enough, it happens. And when it does happen, it's like, what in the world are they doing? I can't figure it out. I don't know. These kids are doing this stuff, and it's sad. How many lives ruined? How many futures ruined? I don't know. These kids may have had a future doing something, or, maybe they didn't. but chances are they're not, and none of them going to be seeing the light of day coming out of that jail until they're at least 30. And what are they going to do? What productive members of society are they going to be at 30? 30 with the vast majority of their formative years and their years spent in either a gang or in a jail cell. We pretty much just, destroyed 4 human beings, killed a couple of others, wounded a couple of others. So, and again, it's a lack of criminal control. But they felt emboldened enough to roll up, again, broad daylight. They ain't no shame in their game. They roll up in a stolen car in broad daylight, like they're the Jump Out Boys. Well, guess what? This one jumped out on them. So it is what it is. I'll keep following this, see what happens with it. Again, 3 out of the 4 are hooked up and in custody. Craziness, but it's true. Right? Now, my next one, let's see what we've got here. We've got a little bit of a good guy, good girl, I should say, with a gun story. And it's really interesting. Now, I'm going to read you the headline of it and how it came out originally in the media, and then see if we get where we go from there. Now, if you caught Dr. Bronca's or Andrew Bronca's channel earlier today, you know the case I'm using. I actually saw this today, and it just, totally jumped out at me, and I thought it was very much worth bringing into the show tonight. This comes out of Fox 2 in Detroit. Let's see if I can get you up here, because it was really an interesting situation. When you read the article, what went on, let's see here. Okay, they changed the title on that one. Here we are. Now, as we look at the title of this one and we see what we see on this screen, I want y'all to tell me what you think is what we should think about this. Any ideas? I'll give it a minute, let the chat catch up. Yeah, Minnie wants thug control. And I'm not even going to say thug control. How about just criminal control? These kids have been in trouble before. They have done bad stuff before. This ain't their first time playing the game, unfortunately. And that's where, it's a very, very dangerous situation, so to speak. So if I can blow this up a little for you. Yeah, what you think of this headline, Minnie? What we got? Okay, good. If you were not seeing it on this channel, if I had not already sort of let it on a little bit, you were just scrolling, doing the doom scroll. You're just at work, you're bored, you're sitting on the pooper and you're scrolling through because you got nothing better to do. What would you think of this? Someone, come on, jump in. Okay, if it was the people wounded, then good for her defending herself. Okay. A woman who wounded the mother and daughter in Sterling Heights. Some road rager, some maniac out there. Well, and again, Bronca had this one on today, and I loved it. This shows how dishonest the media is. Citing the law of self-defense, there will be no charges in a double shooting that took place in Sterling Heights on February 27th. A woman assaulted by a mother and daughter, and who is a concealed pistol license holder, pulled her pistol and shot both attackers. Denying charges on the grounds of self-defense is recognition of the inherent right to protect oneself when faced with imminent danger, said Macomb prosecutor Pete Lucido. Lucido did not file charges against the two women. Well, why not? I don't know. After investigation, witness interviews, and speaking with the shooter. The women who were recovering from non-life-threatening injuries. The incident happened when the mother and daughter inside a Jeep Compass followed the victim inside her Dodge Durango, going to Carrabba's Italian Grill on Schroeder. Schroeder? I don't know. Going somewhere, going to Carrabba's, I'll give it that. The Durango driver stopped at a sign in the shopping plaza near Carrabba's when the mother and daughter got out of their SUV, went to the driver's side, and began physically assaulting her. A bystander rushed to the aid of the Durango driver, but fled when she heard the gunshot. Eyewitness who called 911, those two girls tried to attack the shooter. Those two girls were beating up on her. Last week, Sterling Heights submitted a warrant for the prosecutor's office warrant unit for possible charges against the shooter. So the police submitted a warrant request on it. The police submitted a warrant request on this with an eyewitness who had called 911. So you've got a third-party, unremoved eyewitness watching it go on, calling 911, telling them what's going on, and the police submitted a warrant request on this. Yeah. The warrant unit, however, denied charges against the driver of the Durango, citing self-defense, and they go through here. But when you're putting headlines out, again, woman shoots mother and daughter in road rage incident. What are we saying here? Why won't we charge her? Does it say woman defends herself from two attackers in road rage incident? Does it say, woman sits there and, gets attacked by two people and has to defend herself? Does it say licensed pistol owner, licensed permitted carrier, defends self against violent attack? No. This is the headlines that go out there. So no matter how innocent we are, what happens? Of course, exactly. Guns are bad. We know guns are bad. To me, this is, media malpractice 101. We've all talked about, and you've heard it, whether it's on this channel or on other channels, how it gets portrayed in the media when something goes on. But you know what? It just doesn't seem to fit. Here you've got a good gal with a gun who's going to Carrabba's. That's her biggest offense. Now, again, I don't know. Maybe there was nothing else that good around, Maybe she just really wanted Carrabba's that time. I don't know. But her biggest offense is stopping for a stop sign in a mall parking lot next to Carrabba's and getting attacked by a mother and daughter. Now, the fact that she actually shot the mother and the daughter, I find a little bit amusing. I've got to say, that one was kind of fun because, well, that's on her. So, one shot got two people, and it is what it is on that. Beyond that, what else do we have to share tonight? Well, as always, on March 11th in Lakeland, Florida man, a legally armed Florida man used a handgun and a rifle to engage in an extended shootout with two gunmen who threatened him and his girlfriend as they sat in their car with their two young kids while leaving a friend's house. At what point in society do you not just go out to your friend's house? And the interesting thing is, when you look at this one, police are saying they think it's just a random shooting, just a random occurrence. Two people were killed, including a 3-year-old boy, and one injured in a shooting Monday evening in Lakeland. Police are searching for one unidentified shooter who remains at large. Lakeland police responded to the area of Cambridge Circle Cove at an apartment off Mall Hill Road near Kathleen Road for reports of a shooting. Officers arrived within 2 minutes to find 2 people struck by gunfire. Officers found Jacques Norton, 3, shot dead in his car seat inside a 2023 Toyota RAV4. Norton's mother, 21-year-old Yamin Baez, was with her 2 children and 23-year-old Robert Ensing sitting in the SUV on Cambridge Cove Monday night. They were in the neighborhood visiting friends, getting ready to leave. A white 2014 Dodge Challenger was driven up the street, parked in a way to block the RAV4 with Baez in the driver's seat. We feel they knew each other. It was not a random act. 22-year-old gets out of the passenger seat of the Challenger, armed with a 9mm, approaches the driver's side of the SUV. Wilson and Baez apparently knew each other. Taylor said the exact nature of their relationship is unclear. Then an unidentified Hispanic man got out of the driver's seat of the Challenger and approached the passenger side while armed with a rifle. Words were exchanged between the individuals before shooting broke out. The chief said there was some indication. Baez screamed, "My kids are in the car, my kids are in the car," as Wilson and the second man approached the SUV with guns drawn. Whether Camaras and the other individual heard them, we don't know. The unidentified man stuck the rifle in the passenger side window, and there was a struggle over control of the gun. The chief thinks it was during the struggle the rifle went off and the bullet hit Enzig's hip. Baez grabbed her 3-month-old from the middle of the back seat and fled from the shooting. Baez and the infant were not injured in the shooting. Enzig, who was armed with both a handgun and a rifle, fired back at Wilson and the second man, resulting in an ongoing gun battle. Police have recovered 223 bullet casings and 9mm casings from the scene. Enzig was transported to Lakeland Regional for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. Police received tips that the white Challenger was seen leaving the area of the shooting, received assistance from an individual who lives on the block, and they're working to try to sort this out right now. The 2 guns used by Mr. Wilson and the unidentified man have not been found. The 2 firearms used by Enzig were legally in his possession. So again, 2 guns in his possession, and does what? Defending the family, etc. Folks, it doesn't get any crazier than some of this stuff. And what do you have? Car pulls up and they jump out and, start shooting. So again, 3-year-old boy dead. One of the shooters dead. What a waste. And again, whether they knew each other or what, pull up on someone in a subdivision, jump out, and, do your thing. Kind of crazy if you ask me, but it is what it is. And people want to know why we carry. Well, stuff like this is why we carry. Stuff like this is why we train. Stuff like this is why, got to be just a hair paranoid in life. And see if they've got an update on it. No. 2 women, a mother and daughter. Let's see. Okay, that was the Detroit one. And again, trying to sort it all out. They also got one out of Denver. Denver officials announced this week they won't pursue charges against the construction site manager who fatally shot 2 burglars last month, saying there's a significant claim of self-defense and the burglars tried to spray him with bear spray. Now, bear spray is basically high-end pepper spray. Usually a bigger container, maybe a little bit more projection, but pepper spray. Think of very similar. Now, that being said, did pepper spray stop a shooter? No. They tried to use pepper spray on the good guy. It did not stop him from getting shots off. So, again, for the people who say, well, you don't need to carry, you have pepper spray. Yeah, You can pepper spray the bad guy, and it may or may not work. But if it doesn't, and they can see enough to make a silhouette outline, they're still a threat. There are things that work better than pepper spray. But the father of one of the two individuals killed during a construction site believes the shooter should be held accountable. How about the two burglars who broke into the site? What do we call that? Let's see. Minnie, I know you mentioned it up there in the chat somewhere. Oh, yeah, that one. Okay. Believes the shooter should be held accountable. Yeah. The offender. Mm-hmm. Denver police say after a thorough investigation of the circumstances, the shooter will not be arrested and there's no charges. After considering all the evidence in the case, including a 911 call, statement from the shooter, physical evidence that corroborated the shooter's statement, we don't believe that we can prove any criminal charges to a jury. Let's see here. There's a significant claim of self-defense on the part of the shooter, who was approached by the alleged burglars, sprayed in the face with bear spray. We then considered that the shooter, who was the superintendent of the location where the shooting happened, was checking the building at the time of the shooting due to recent burglaries. So the construction site has been broken into multiple times. So the superintendent, when he's out checking it, carries. Seems perfectly logical to me. Runs up on two burglars. Instead of them saying, whoa, dude, sorry, they spray him with bear spray. So now, again, he's half blind, disoriented, and shoots them both, revoking their birth certificates. Folks, hate to break it to you, but don't have none, won't be none. Not only did they burglarize the site, okay, bad enough, but I'm willing to hunch a bet that when they were encountered, if they had not resisted aggressively with violence, bear spray, something that's perceived as a weapon or trying to debilitate the good guy, he probably wouldn't have dropped the hammer on them. But let's see. Despite the fact, the father of one of the people killed says the shooter should face the justice system. Well, they might have been trespassing or whatever what they were doing, but I can't say to that. But they didn't deserve to die. There's an interesting thing there. Yeah, they might have been trespassing or whatever. Yeah, they were burglarizing, trespassing, and then spraying with pepper. Every step of this escalation was in the hands of the bad guys, who escalated this encounter to the point of what? Somebody pulled the trigger. But they didn't deserve to die. It's interesting how they say, oh, yeah, it's law enforcement. Well, they pulled him over for a taillight out and they shot him. No, there was something in between there. There were several steps that they went through in between there. I've yet to know of any officers in the world, now maybe there are some, can't say that they don't exist, never seen one, that makes a stop for a simple taillight and walks up and says, yeah, license, registration, bang. No, they don't do that. But, it starts at that, and then there's usually several steps of resistance, violence, escalation that pushes it to that ultimate termination. It's the old story of, don't be an asshole to me, because if you're an asshole to me, I've got to be an asshole back, and I might be a little bit better at it. Don't be violent to me, because then I might have to be violent back. And if I'm violent back, I might be better at it than you are, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. That's how bad things happen to people. So, yeah, might have been trespassing, but they didn't deserve to die for it. Shots were fired after the bear spray attack. Yeah, so they might have been trespassing or spraying people with bear spray. Call for help came in at 1:30 at a construction site in the area of Bellevue. Situation started when the manager arrived, found two people inside involved in a burglary. After confronting the pair, they assaulted the manager by deploying bear spray. He then pulled his firearm and shot. It was a man and a woman. The man, 40-year-old, died on scene, and the female, 37 years of age, was taken to the hospital where she later died. Apparently, in the next one, he fired several rounds, which is very excessive. No, if you're trying to blind me with bear spray, no. I may even just keep firing until the gun's empty, so at least that way, if I am blind, you can't use it against me. He fired several rounds. They're very excessive. He could have backed out the door and let the police do their job, and they'd both be alive today. If he had any remorse, he could have provided some life-saving help to her. I'm sorry, maybe he was blinded by your damn bear spray. The site manager got shot with bear spray or something like that. It's a hard pill to swallow. What is he doing? He's back to work on Monday. It kind of hurts to think that way. What else hurts when I think of her collapsing 15 feet outside the door? What was she thinking, lying there and bleeding out? It breaks my heart to think of what he did to her. She committed the crime. She broke in. She attacked him with bear spray. And she chose violence and he chose better. They must have determined, let's see, that is significant. That's a weapon. It's a deadly weapon in close proximity. You cannot use deadly force to defend property, so in order for charges not to be brought, they must have determined the individual was in fear of serious bodily harm. Again, the father of the victim, or the father of the criminal, I don't want to say victim, because she's not a victim of her own bad choices. They should never have expectations of being shot and killed in that type of situation. That's a situation where the police would arrest them and charge them for doing something wrong. You shouldn't get murdered for being in a construction site. But is this murder? Did they not escalate to violence? They chose violence. They reached out for the construction company asking, woman answered the phone, no information. Okay. Again, this one is Denver. Multiple break-ins at the site, time after time after time. And what's happening? Well, like I said, they chose violence. He was better at it than they were. So sad. Hate to see anyone lose their life, especially, 37 and 40 years of age. On the other side of that coin, though, there's just, I don't know what more you can say. Let's see. Apparently they've had multiple burglaries before, and the investigation will determine, anything, but they're saying now it looks justified. So, again, don't choose violence. Don't choose violence, because if the person you choose violence with, they're better at it than you are, it's not going to work out real well for the home team. Just saying. And I hate that the couple lost their life, but beyond stupid. They went out and did it. And again, they chose violence with him, and he just happened to be better than they were. Let's see what else we have here. An elderly New Mexico homeowner fatally shot a burglar who he caught in his garage after the burglar assaulted him and his wife. Police said the burglar was well known to them for committing many crimes in the area over years. If a burglar is well known to the police for committing many crimes in the area over the years, and the burglar looks to be maybe 30, early 30s at the oldest. Let's see, 28 years old. Okay, that's pretty close. Yeah, but now he's dead after being shot by a homeowner who caught him in the garage. A woman who told the dispatcher that her husband had shot someone they caught in the garage. Her husband shot the man because he attacked the couple and pushed the caller over. The names of the homeowners weren't released. Okay, 28-year-old man pushes an elderly man and his wife over after breaking into their garage. You wonder why we care. So, after he got physical with the elderly couple, the elderly man revoked his birth certificate. Hate it for you folks, I really do, but These things are not getting any better. They're really not. He was well known to law enforcement in the area for commission of burglaries. In fact, this individual had been charged with several crimes since February of 2020, though his criminal history dates far further back. The incident on Saturday wasn't the first time he's been accused of breaking into a home. November 2019, he broke into a nursing home, faced charges of B&E, criminal trespass, resisting, evading, obstructing an officer. A case against him was filed in February 2020. He took a repeat offender plea in that case, in which he pleaded guilty to receiving or transferring stolen vehicles from an August of 2020 case. Court records show he was also charged with breaking and entering, criminal trespass. Okay. So this gentleman has been arrested. I'm seeing like 5 times here. There's no criminal control. The door continues to evolve, and the more they keep on bopping out the door, what are we seeing? I mean, I'm sorry, as the decent citizens in society, what are we seeing? I guess it's one of those, it is what it is. I wanted to show you all this one too, because this kind of blew my mind. It came in courtesy of our great white friends to the north, the Leaf family, shall we say. I was actually saving this to see if Holly stopped by in the chat. I just want everyone to see what Canada is recommending here. Okay, I'm hearing we have no audio. Let me see if I can share that screen a little bit better with some audio. That would be good. Let's see what we can do here. Share screen. And let's see.
There's also updated advice for all vehicle owners, a message echoed by Toronto police speaking at an Etobicoke safety meeting last month. Constable Marco Ricciardi had a new message for vehicle owners who keep their fobs in Faraday pouches.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door, because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. A lot of them that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns, they're real guns. They're loaded.
That's why Galinsky says they will be installing the door stops and taking YPR's advice seriously. But she'd like more action from police as well.
I don't know if y'all caught that. They've got this system now where they can go around and try to scan through the door to scan your key fob to see if it's emitting anything based on the make and model of your car, where they can try to basically duplicate your key fob real quickly to steal your car. Many Canadians have put their key fobs in Faraday pouches so they can't be scanned. But the police are now recommending against that, because if you don't let your car be stolen, these criminals will break in and they'll get your fob that way. And these criminals are likely to have guns. I'll play it again. I listened to this 3 times and had to read the article to understand what's going on.
There's also updated advice for all vehicle owners, a message echoed by Toronto police speaking at an Etobicoke safety meeting last month. Constable Marco Ricciardi had a new message for vehicle owners who keep their fobs in Faraday pouches.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door, because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. A lot of them that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns, they're real guns. They're loaded.
That's why Galinsky says they will be installing the door stops and taking YPR's advice seriously. But
now those door stops, I'm familiar with those. They're stop locks. They're actually really interesting. I've ordered a set of those. I'm going to be doing a review on them pretty soon. They looked pretty darn impressive to me. But yeah, so basically, leave your keys where they can be easily stolen. No. Oh, mail. It's a leaf. If you all know the joke, you'll understand. Sorry, Holly, love you dearly. But yeah. They are basically stating, go ahead, let your car be easily stolen. Leave your car, where, let yourself be robbed, because otherwise they're going to break in with a gun. And again, if they want to choose violence and break in with a gun, there's a way to fix that problem. There really is. Now, I like those stop blocks. I want to, I'm probably going to be putting one on the house here. Like I said, I've got them. We're going to do a review on them. On the other side of that coin, how about criminals, with the police not tell people let your cars be stolen easily? Because you know what? How about say, if criminals break in, put it out to the criminals. If you break in the door, we're telling people to drop you where you stand. How about putting the message out to the criminals? We're tired of you breaking into people's houses. You know what? We're going to do something like a castle law or a rule or a doctrine of sorts. A doctrine I like. If you break into someone's house, if you forcibly enter someone's house, it's their right to revoke your birth certificate and basically send your family a bill for the ammunition they use. I mean, society is falling. That one, again, like I said, saw that one earlier today and just thought it was perfect because it was such an absolute train wreck of the whole adventure. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to solve problems. And you want to see what other countries deal with? This is another one. Comes out of, I'm trying to remember where this one came out of. It was over in Europe, I believe. We'll show you how criminals deal with things in other neighborhoods and other, areas. I don't think this one's got any the audio on it, but if it does, we'll see. Here we've got her little munchkin and her going in or coming out the door, and she kind of wonders about it here for a minute. Yeah, there's someone lurking up on them. Yeah. Get to watch that one. And fortunately, Fido sort of comes out and comes to the rescue there. It is what it is, folks. Stuff like this that just drives me absolutely nuts because, I see this stuff different places. I see different things pop out, Yeah, sorry, should have warned you about that one. But, Fido did pop out at the end there, and he sought to let his voice be heard. Unfortunately, Fido didn't get a hunk of anything, so that was, a little bit of a missed opportunity to, deal with the problem, but, it is what it is. But the stuff that's going on these days, it drives me nuts because I see that what's going, it's the old story of why we carry, but why we train, why we carry. I think that's about all I've got for tonight. He's dear. The one thing that decent people need to learn, and I pray, I hate to say it, but this is just that we all have got to get to this point as human beings. We, as decent people, need to learn not everybody out there is like us. We are the good people. We are the nice people. We are the civilized people. And if nothing else, the story we covered a couple of weeks ago about a jogger down at UGA, a 22-year-old civilized nursing student, didn't get stabbed, didn't get shot. It was no gun violence. It was just pure brutality. That is the brutality that exists in this world. And, it is what it is. And every now and then you just need, well, that's why, you need to carry a 9mm, because I've heard about what 9mm can do.
A 22 caliber bullet will rise in a lung. A 9mm bullet blows the lung out of the body.
You see, there you go. You need some lung blower 9mm. That stuff is always good.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
Again, you have your choice. Yeah. Now, Mel, what would you do if that was one of your nieces who was getting dragged and slung and tossed around like that? Yeah. Just asked our Marine Captain Tucker. We covered all about that. You cut you clean in half with an AR-15. Personally, I wish that Mama had an AR-15 in that, situation. That reminds me, I got to see if I still have it. I think I do. Let me see here if I can find. We downloaded a picture for that captain, that wonderful retired captain. Let's see if I can dig that up for y'all. Let's see. Also, one thing to share with y'all. Yesterday, like I said, it was a rough day for Minnie just because of the fact that, she, I know, didn't get to get her range time in. I understand, for ladies' night. I tried to go pick up a new toy yesterday, and it turned out that, I didn't get what I wanted either because I was hoping to get a new toy, but unfortunately they're out of stock on it, so it didn't work out too well for me. But, yeah. If you think an AR-15 will cut you in half, I've got the new tag for your vehicle. There you go, Captain Tucker, or Colonel Tucker. Hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to do Chinese and crab legs. But that one's in honor of our dear Colonel Tucker. Because him. I think you all would appreciate that. Well, all righty. Well, that's about all I've got for this evening, folks. Thanks for coming by. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up, give us a follow, share us out on Rumble. If you catch it later on the replay gang on YouTube, you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, do all those good things. There's going to be tomorrow probably a Rumble exclusive live stream that I'll be YouTubing up in the aftermath. And there may be a Rumble premiere that I run at some point just to run as a premiere video, doing some more stuff over the weekend. Also, if you haven't already, check out the new channel. It's launching beginning of the week. It's going to be more news, politics, general stuff. I try to focus mostly on guns, firearms, 2A related stuff in here. And there's just so much other stuff going on that I feel the need to talk about. So from that point, go from there. But beyond that, I'll leave you with the lovely and talented as ever, Sarah Gonzalez. She also started her new show. She's with Blaze Media, so check her out. Give her a follow at Sarah.